Good evening, Sports Beat fans, and welcome to the final Sports Beat episode of the spring semester. I'm your host, JJ Beal, and we have a jam-packed show for you tonight. We will start on the hardwood to discuss the ongoing NBA playoffs. We then hit the ice with a peek into the Stanley Cup playoffs. After that, we will be joined by women's track star Jacqueline Orellana to discuss her season so far. We keep our eye on the Pride with our Pride Top 5 of the month. Next, we give our seniors a send-off with our senior montage. Following that, we will have our Pride Weekly update, and finally, we will crown our Athlete of the Year. Don't go anywhere because the Herbie Award-winning Sports Beat starts right now. The NBA playoffs have gotten off to an electrifying start with many fan favorites already being sent home. Here with me to discuss are Julia Kavanaugh and Anthony Basha. Now, Julia and Anthony, with the first round of the NBA playoffs coming to a close, who were your biggest disappointments and who were your biggest surprises from that first round of action?
Surprises, I'll start off with that because there wasn't really too big of one for me, but the Timberwolves, just because of the way they did it, sweeping the big three in Phoenix, I'd say that was a surprise, but for disappointment, it has to be the Clippers. This is a team that I thought had that side of the Western Conference final. I don't want to say, or Western Conference playoffs, I don't want to say locked up, but they were my pick to move on, and obviously the other side's a bit stronger, so that's not saying much, but those aging stars sure looked aging. They looked terrible that whole series against the Mavericks, and because of that, they're going home. You can never trust the Clippers.
My biggest disappointment has to be the Suns. With their big three of KD, D-Book, and Bradley Beal, I expected them to be at least some sort of a contender. But to get swept, I mean, granted, the Timberwolves do look very good right now. But to be swept by them, it was just a sad scene out there in Phoenix. And for my biggest surprise moving on, it's actually Dallas, who was playing against the Clippers. I did not expect them to be as good. The Clippers were surging this year. Paul George looked really good as per usual. James Harden was starting to get back into his 2018 groove. But yeah, that's got to be for me the winners and losers.
So now looking ahead to the second round, which matchup are you most excited to see?
It's got to be Pacers-Knicks. Look, this series just feels a little bit above the rest. You know, they got the history with the Reggie Miller doing the choke to Spike Lee. Again, might be Aaron Naismith this time doing it. Who knows? But the Pacers are such a gritty team. They got the depth. I think the Knicks probably come out on top, but it's going to be a great series to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go with Timberwolves Nuggets in the Western Conference there. Both of those teams are super exciting. The defending champs versus one of the youngest, most exciting teams, very athletic. I think that one is going to go long, although right now it is 2-0 in favor of the Timberwolves, and it does look like they're dominating, but I think the Nuggets are going to step up with newly crowned MVP, Nikola Jokic. So we'll see how that one goes, but I think it's going to get more exciting once the teams get settled in a little bit.
And Anthony, you mentioned a little bit before, these New York Knicks, they've never had expectations this high or a path this clear to the conference finals. Do you think they get it done, and do you see them going further than that?
In terms of getting it done, I kind of mentioned it before, I think that they just sneak by the Pacers. They've got a little too much talent, I think, for this Pacers team, even though it will be a great series. Without Mitchell Robinson, I don't see him knocking off the Celtics, even if Porzingis isn't there. Him at the Garden, though, in the playoffs would be fun, so I hope he is, but I just don't see him getting past that point.
I do think the New York Knicks will be in the conference final, the Eastern Conference Finals. Beyond that, no. They just had an extremely grueling series against the 76ers, 6 games, and extremely physical 6 games at that. I just think that their ceiling, especially after losing Bojan, Julius Randle, and now Mitchell Robinson, I think that their ceiling stops at the Eastern Conference Finals. They've had an incredible season. Jalen Brunson's been outstanding, but they stopped there.
Speaking of the Eastern Conference Finals and injuries, a team that the Knicks could potentially see there, the Boston Celtics, are without big man Kristaps Porzingis currently. How does Kristaps affect the ceiling of the Celtics team? I mean, we already saw them blow out the Cavs last night without him, but how does Kristaps affect the ceiling of the Celtics team who has title aspirations?
In my opinion, at least in terms of making the final, they go from surefire to still pretty likely. I think that they get through, especially because that Knicks team's banged up, and I don't think the Pacers can really hang with them. However, once you get to the finals, you get a Nuggets team or a Timberwolves team with all that size. It could get pretty tricky for them. So they were my finals pick going in, and I want to stick with that. But once they get to the finals now, no Porzingis, or even if he's just not 100%, could be kind of rough.
I must say, I was a bit skeptical with the Celtics getting Kristaps Porzingis. His career had kind of slowed down a little bit. You know, obviously he was drafted to the Knicks. he has had a complete resurgence, and it has been great for the Celtics. He's extremely athletic. He can provide something that Al Horford can't with his 7'3" frame, and he has been very efficient, whether it's on the glass. His opponents are held to the lowest interior percentage of shots made, so he has just been a very dynamic player for this Celtics team who, as you said, they're looking for a ring this year.
Now looking to the Western Conference now, and a team that has kind of positioned themselves for a ring, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Are they serious title contenders?
You know, especially with this 2-0 lead now against Denver, I got to say yes, because Denver looked like the best team in the West, and Timberwolves handled them in Denver. It wasn't really close. Do I think the Nuggets make it a series? Of course, but they got the size, they got the defense, the depth, they got all the role players, the star in Anthony Edwards. I think this team's a legit title contender, probably a couple years earlier than they expected.
Yeah, all year everybody's been saying, oh, everybody's just playing this year to lose to Denver. These Minnesota Timberwolves went up to Denver and took 2 games by a great margin. Book it, the Timberwolves in 5.
Timberwolves in 5, says our resident NBA expert, Julia Kavanaugh. Well, that'll do it for the NBA playoffs. Switching to the ice now, Jessica Ross brings you your Stanley Cup playoff update.
Thanks so much, JJ. The Stanley Cup playoffs are currently taking the sports world by storm as the second round continues to roll on. Let's take a look back on a first round that was filled with memorable highlights, triumphant victories, and heartbreaking losses. The Dallas Stars took down the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who this time last year took home the Stanley Cup championship. Despite Vegas having a 2-0 lead in the series early on, the Stars would battle back, and a goal from Radek Faksa early in the third period of Game 7 would send the Stars to the second round. They now move on and face the Colorado Avalanche. With pressure to not let this season be a repeat of last year, the Boston Bruins would edge out the Toronto Maple Leafs in 7 games to advance to the second round. Boston at one point held the 3-1 series lead, but back-to-back wins from the Leafs would keep them alive. Ultimately, an overtime goal from David Pastrnak in Game 7 would secure the Bruins championship goals. Now advance to take on the Florida Panthers. In what many would call an upset, the Colorado Avalanche would knock off the Winnipeg Jets. This would be one of 4 series to only go 5 games, as the Edmonton Oilers, Carolina Hurricanes, and Florida Panthers would all advance to the second round in convincing fashion. The New York Rangers also advanced to the second round as they were the only team to sweep their opponents, the Washington Capitals. Led by explosive stick of Artemi Panarin, the Rangers would combine to score 4 goals in 3 of the 4 playoff matchups between these 2 teams. The Rangers now advance to take on the Carolina Hurricanes, who not once but twice scored back-to-back goals within 10 seconds during their first series against the Islanders. With your Stanley Cup playoff update, I'm Jessica Ross. SportsBeat will be right back after this.
His visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Sports Beat. Jacqueline Orellana of the women's track team joins us in studio. Jacqueline, your season is over. You're not going to the CAA championships this weekend. So overall, your last time out, 5:28 mile, pretty much a PR for you, but how do you assess the season as a whole for you?
The season as a whole was probably one of my season's bests for the whole entire year, from cross country all the way into outdoor. Personally, for the Trials of Miles race, I feel like my 5:28 mile was a season best race for me. I feel like I really just emptied out the whole tank for the end of the season. I feel like it was one of my best ones, so I'm happy with that time, and I'm ready to start for my summer training.
And now you finally have some downtime, but it's hard, right? Because you go from the fall to the winter to the spring. You don't got the same downtime that you do now. So when you're going through so many seasons, both indoor and outdoor, how do you get through what is such a mentally taxing sport?
I will say just like my teammates, just having them and just having a really good support system is really what gets me through. Just knowing that they're there through the practices, waking up every day the same time as me and just wanting to get after it, just like me. I feel like that's really motivating for me. And I just feel like keeping a steady routine and just like trying my best not to break it and just staying on top of it and wanting to be better every day is really good motivation.
And one of the quotes that you hold true, grow from the dirt they left you in, what does that quote mean to you and how do you carry it throughout every season?
So I feel like every season there's going to be some hard times. I feel like everything's always going to be an uphill battle. I don't mean that in like a negative way, but I just feel like, you know, there are going to be setbacks. There are going to be hard times where you feel like you can't do it, or you feel like you didn't get a time that you wanted, but just wanting to constantly get better every single day and know what you're doing is all worth it, and just seeing yourself evolve into like the best version of yourself that you could possibly ever be is like something that I aspire to be. And I feel like I try to take whatever lessons and whatever downfalls that I have, or whatever times that I'm not necessarily happy with, I try to use it as a turnaround to be like, you know what, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to get after, and you know, I'm going to get after it. So
that mentality kind of reminds me of Sydney McLaughlin, Serena Williams, two athletes that you look up to. What is it about two of the best athletes in the world that you take with you every season?
One, I would just say like them being just like very powerful women, just, you know, like, and just taking like kind of their sport just in their hand, and just, you know, like being able to just in interviews just being very confident with themselves. I know that there's probably games, there's going to be races that they're not happy with, but you know, them holding themselves up to their own standard and just being able to face their game by storm and just get after whatever they're trying to get after, no hesitation and like no second thought. Just, I feel like that's what makes them so admirable.
And this entire Sports Beat episode is filled with seniors. You have at least one more year under your belt with the Hofstra Pride, but when it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
I will just say as someone that continued to just grow. I feel like coming from like a small high school team and then coming to a D1 level is definitely something that was very intimidating for me. And I feel like I wasn't able to fit in with everyone else that was running, and I was, you know, like kind of nervous and scared, if I'm like being honest, but you know, and just being able to take every single season as a lesson and being like, you know, I want to be even better than I was last season, and I want to just keep growing and stuff like that. I don't think when I'm done with college, it's not the end of my running chapter. I don't think so. I want to like do so much more with it. So,
Jacqueline Orellana, track and field athlete, thank you so much for taking the time. Congratulations on an amazing season. Sports Beat will be right back after this quick break.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to this edition of the Pride Top 5. We are towards the end of the semester. Championship play is right around the corner, so let's roll the top plays. We start off with number 5 on the softball field, Nicole Hansel, the freshman. No extra base hits until this at-bat right here. Check off this double off the wall, nearly gets out of the park, just a couple more Wheaties, but only 3 hits on the year, make it number 4, an extra base hit. Hofstra would go on to lose this one 8-0 to the Cougars. Number 4, we keep on the diamond, but this time the baseball diamond. Santino Rosso, they call it the hot corner for a reason. A diving stab, gets up, and makes the throw to first in time. As the Pride take on the Pirates, a play so nice we have to see it twice. Santino Rosso on his knees but not surrendering, makes the throw in time as Hofstra goes on to take this one 4-3 against the Pirates. Number 3, we head back to the softball diamond and against the College of Charleston once again. This time it's Becca Valancourt making the play. You think you can run on Becca Valancourt? I don't think so. She came here to chew bubblegum and throw out runners, and she is all out of bubblegum. Let's check this one more time. From her knees, no problem, right on the money, out by a mile. We head to number 2, Will Kennedy and the Long Island Rivalry. Drills this one, deep left field, back at the track, at the wall, see you later. The Hofstra veterans' first home run of the season was a big one, boosting Hofstra, giving them a 4-0 lead. Hofstra would go on to win that game 4-0 and ultimately take the series against the Stony Brook Sea Wolves 2-1. Hofstra getting themselves set for CAA tournament play real soon. And that brings us to our top play of this semester, probably of the year. Julia Apsell, one strike away from perfection. And she gets the batter swinging. Julia Apsell throws the first perfect game for Hofstra softball since 2018. She says, "Can I help you? No thanks, just swinging by." Julia Apsell, they call her the conductor because she punches tickets. Well, this time she's punching herself into the record book. And that wraps up this edition of the Pride Top 5. Staying with the Pride, let's take an inside look into the Hofstra dance team.
My introduction into the dance team at Hofstra, I've been a dancer since I was about 3, and I've been doing it in the competitive realm all of my life, up and all the way through high school. And coming into college, Hofstra had that space for me to still practice my art. We are a family, and we do love each other and want to push each other to the best of our ability, but also to compete at the highest level that we do, we need to stay on each other, stay responsible for one another, stay accountable for one another. So accountability is something really huge that we prioritize in our program and have for the last 30 years that we've been a program. This is actually the 30th year that Hofstra dance team has been in function with Coach Kelly as our head coach.
My journey on the dance team started in 2019. I had been doing my college search for a few years. Around my junior and senior year of high school, though, I got super serious, trying to pick where I wanted to go. I attended the UDA College Nationals, which we currently still attend, and I watched teams there, and Hofstra automatically got my eye due to their athleticism, their team culture, loved everything about their program just from watching it, so I knew I wanted to take further steps. Since then, I have not stopped. I was supposed to graduate last year, but I was lucky enough to extend my stay on the team, and I was able to do a 5th year on the team, which was super awesome because my time here has been full of so many accomplishments, not just with the trophies and the medals, but everything I've learned as just a person has really impacted me, and it's nothing I even knew I would accomplish walking in like 5 years ago. Never would have thought I picked up on the life lessons I did. So it's been an honor, and additionally getting to be in a captain position for 2 years and lead my team through some of the best victories we've had has been such an honor. So that's really how it started and how it's closing soon.
When asked what it's like to coach the Hofstra University dance team, I could just go on and on forever. It's been a dream since I was on the team. I found out about Hofstra in high school, and I just knew it was the place for me. I tried out, made the team, and all my years of being on the team, I just wanted more and more and more. I wanted to make something special of myself, make something special of the program. So when it came time for me to take over and become the coach, I just grew and grew and grew. I learned a lot. In the beginning, I was scared and I was hesitant, and I was unsure kind of really what path to take us, but I just kept listening to my heart, which is something that I really pushed with the team, and I just kept letting my heart guide me and push me through all the challenges, all the ups and downs, and it's just been a dream come true to be coaching and still be coaching.
When she does her job, we do our job, and just trust in each other, that's when it works. We just have to focus on ourselves, focus on being the best of the best, being in the best shape of our lives, in which why we prioritize nutrition, good sleep, and good workouts on our own. And if we just let the coaches do their job, when we mesh together, magic happens, and that's why we've been so successful.
During my time on the team, I have had the honor to compete on the stage for 5 years now, and with doing that, we have been able to take home a few championships. So my time on the team, I was able to claim 4 national championships and 1 world championship, which to this day, it seems unreal to even say. And it's such an honor and an accomplishment to be part of the legacy building and the number adding to the banner. And just being able to be in a leadership role through 3 of those titles that we've taken it's indescribable, honestly. Not that I did everything to get us where we are, but to say that I was just a small factor into creating the team unity and the team culture and keeping the team just so dedicated towards our goals and being able to accomplish them is just an honor in itself. And I think the biggest thing that I always tried to implement while I was a captain was to keep us going towards our goals, the hardcore way, which is with grit, with heart, just how Hofstra does things year after year. It's been an honor, I can't say it enough, being able to lead not just any team, but a D1 team that takes home so many national championships and is so recognizable to the public eye. It's just been an honor in itself.
If you would have asked me in high school if I'd be coaching in my 20th season, I would have never believed it. This has been a dream come true. These team members that have become family to me, friends to me, they share the same heart as me, they share the same passion as me, and I just love every ounce of what I do, and I just want to keep doing it forever, and it's my home.
I definitely owe this program for years to come for what it's given me.
Your Division I POM National Champions are Hofstra University.
Thank you to the Hofstra dance team for that very special inside look. Bringing you what's to come for the Pride, here is Danny DiCrescenzo with your Pride Weekly Update.
Hey Sports Beat fans, I'm Danny DiCrescenzo and welcome to this edition of the Pride Weekly Update. The semester is coming to a close and the CAA championships are on the horizon, so let's get right into it. Earlier today, the softball team came up short against number 3 seeded Stony Brook Seawolves in the first round of the CAA championship tournament. However, the Pride still has title hopes as they just defeated Elon 6-0. Although their campaign for back-to-back conference titles has been rocky, the Pride has still been a force to be reckoned with in the CAA. Hofstra returns to the Diamond tomorrow at 5 p.m. Taking a trip down south, the baseball team will take on the formidable UNCW Seahawks this weekend. The Pride will have their work cut out for them as UNCW is coming off 4 straight series wins. With playoff seeding on the line, the boys in blue will turn to Dylan Palmer and Alex McCoy to keep the bats alive as the Pride battle to stay in the hunt for the CAA championship. Game times are set for 6 p.m. on Friday, 6 p.m. on Saturday, and 1 p.m. on Sunday. And finally, heading down south this weekend as well, the men's and women's track teams are off to Wilmington, North Carolina to compete in the CAA Outdoor Track and Field Championship. The Pride will be hoping to hurdle the competition as they try to bring home their first ever conference title. Events are scheduled to begin both Friday and Saturday at 10 a.m. For more information on schedules, live streams, and more, visit GoHofstra.com. Sports Beat will be right back after this.
There are more than a dozen significant tropical and winter storms that threaten the East Coast. So chances are there will be more hurricanes and blizzards near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back to Sports Beat. Joining me once again to help crown our Athlete of the Year are Anthony and Julia. Anthony, give it to me. Who's your Athlete of the Year?
Really, there's only one choice in my mind at least. 8 goals, 15 assists for Elliot Goldthorpe. The most goal contributions on the team, on a team that was just mere minutes away from the Elite Eight. He had the game-winning goal in the CAA Championship, free kick right outside the box. That was beautiful. Had the crowd going crazy at Hofstra Soccer Stadium. 3 assists in 2 NCAA tournament games. Who else could it be?
It's an excellent choice, Anthony. I'm going to go with Tyler Thomas of the men's basketball team. Averaged 22.5 points per game. At one point, that was #1 in the nation. 37% from 3, 41% from the field. Unreal numbers. Back-to-back Haggerty Award winner. Oscar Robinson, National Player of the Week 2 times. Is there a better player for the Pride this year? I don't think so.
Well, there were 2 people named CAA Player of the Year in their conferences this year between, Tyler Thomas and Elliot Goldthorpe. But unfortunately, here at Hofstra, we measure things in rings and banners. There's one person that brought Hofstra a ring and a banner this year, and that is Elliot Goldthorpe. So Elliot Goldthorpe, our Athlete of the Year. That'll do it for our Athlete of the Year segment. But before we wrap up for the semester, we want to give a special thank you to all of our seniors, both in front of the camera and behind the scenes here at Sports Beat with our senior montage. Wow. I am truly speechless and at a loss for words for what SportsBeat has meant to me during my time at Hofstra. You know, I'd have to thank my mom and dad for even putting me in a position to be here. I couldn't have done it without them. They have constantly pushed me to be better and have given me these chances to grow and develop as a person, and I cannot thank them enough. The rest of my friends and family, I mean, everyone who has either been on the show, has supported me throughout this. There are not enough words to describe my gratitude and thankfulness for all of you, as this has not been an easy time at all. But, you know, these people, you know, they pick you up when you're down, and they just keep on supporting you, and it means truly more than you ever know. And to our entire SportsBeat team, both on and off the camera, when I got here, I had no idea the difference between a prompter and a switcher. And while I do know the difference, I still do not know how to operate either of them. But, you know, our entire SportsBeat team, the team that I got to work with, and the team that has tried to teach me things, but yet I still have not been able to comprehend. I mean, Rob Wilcox, our graphics coordinator, an absolute wizard behind there. Hey, Rob. And, of course, my co-producer, Jill Kane. I mean, you want to talk about the best in the business and someone who has such a bright future ahead, it's Jill Kane, and then it's everyone else. And, you know, as my time as producer wraps up, that's going to do it, and that is all the time we have for SportsBeat tonight. I'm your host, JJ Beal, and remember, Hofstra fans, to always roar with pride.